commercial banking, the free banking of the United States is what built the United States in the 19th century. And I got news for you, and it's been something that the British have targeted to destroy since the day after Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown. Okay? And when you understand it from that perspective, when you understand that City of London has, in effect, ruled the world since the formation of the Bank of England in 1694, when you understand it that way, and it doesn't matter what other things that have been grafted on, and other groups that have been grafted onto this. At times they fight with the French, at other times they invoke the Italians. Sometimes they grab the Rothschilds, and something. It doesn't matter. At a certain level, this has been going on since the 17th century. Okay. And the United States had a free banking system that literally challenged the old industrial might of Europe. By the beginning of the 20th century, it was unstoppable. One could argue that Lincoln saving the Republic did so in order to stop stop France and Britain from effectively color revolutioning in the United States. Even though my heart's with the South on this, like morally, and as a libertarian, as morally, the South was correct, right? States' rights, self-determination. Mm-hmm. Eventually, slavery was going to go away anyway. But that was an issue used to reinforce the tariff structure and the trade imbalance between old continental Europe, where the industrial might was, and the U.S. And the South was their supplier. The North was the upstart industrial center, and they needed to be killed in their crib. Mm-hmm. And the way you do that is by lashing the South to them and forcing the South and the North into conflict. And so all of this stuff's been going on for a long, long time. And don't kid yourself, folks. If you think that I understood half of what I just said back in 2021 when I saw the June FOMC meeting, you're crazy. Of course I didn't. Over time, it's now 3 years. You sit there and you continue to improve your arguments. You continue to dig into the history and look at things a little different, and recast things, and you go, oh wow, that makes so much more sense than the way I used to look at it. And so the reality is that we're now at the end of this rate hike cycle for the Federal Reserve. But did anybody think we would ever get to 5.5% and hold it there?
No one. You were the only voice I heard.
So literally. And I was just literally running the Austrian playbook. If I were the Fed chair under these circumstances, what would I do? Well, I'd raise interest rates to 6% and let everybody twist. And I'd let them try and pull me off of that every way they could, because every time they tried to push Powell off of his position, they were using the very statistics and the very arguments that said, hey, I need to keep interest rates at 5.5%. Right. Inflation's still high. Unemployment is still good. You're still running massive deficits in order to run your agenda. Powell understood exactly what these people were doing. Jamie Dimon got it. He kept going to Davos and telling everybody, prepare for more oil and 7% interest rates. He kept walking in the room and with his bag of poo, and then lit it on fire and stepped on it, and right in front of Klaus Schwab. And I'm like, dude, Dimon has. I love this guy. He's got cojones, as it were. I mean, J.P. Morgan is many things, but in that respect, I have to tip my hat to Jamie Dimon to walk into Evil Corp Central and light some poo on fire in their living room. I think it's great. Yeah,
for as much as we sit here and yell at the Fed, this was the first time in kind of recent history I can remember a Fed official telling us exactly what they were going to do and then doing it. There was so much distrust that I spent 2 years going, yeah, no, he'll never raise rates. Yeah, no, he'll never raise rates.
He'll never do that.
Right. And you kept saying, no, rates are going up. And he kept saying, I'm going to raise rates, and he'd raise rates. And then I came to this conclusion. It's wait a minute, the enemy of our enemy might be our friend in this entire situation.
It's I hate to use. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that phrase or whatever, but if it's a 3-player game, right? And again, like behind me is like some of just a small portion of my board game collection. When you're playing a kind of a competitive political game, and you're racing to particular spots, or you're trying to control these various resources or assets or whatever, Kissinger was right, or Churchill, whoever said it originally. It doesn't matter. They've all said it. There are no allies in geopolitics. There are only interests. Like at the end of the day, Jerome Powell and the Fed are a tool right now for my agenda, and my agenda is human freedom. Right? Is freeing us from these, pedophilic, evil freaking people, right? Who
100%.
believe they have the divine right of kings to rule the world, and and diddle kids, and I have no patience for that whatsoever.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest ByteFederal ATM and turn your cash to coin. ByteFederal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, ByteFederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.